Let me tell you something, 2026 is not waiting for you. Time doesn't slow down for hesitation, fear, or excuses. Most people will walk into the next year with the exact same habits, the same mindset, the same environment, and then wonder why nothing changed. But if you want a different life, you must become a different person. This is not about luck, it's not about motivation, it's about transformation. Because the moment you improve yourself, the world around you improves with you. Let me tell you something. Identity comes before strategy. Most people are trying to fix their life by changing what they do, but they never change who they are. They're trying to build a new future on an outdated version of themselves. You can't create a powerful life while holding on to a powerless identity. You can read every book, take every course, try every method, but if deep down you still see yourself as the same person, nothing will change. Because we don't get what we want, we get what we believe. You can wake up and say, I want to be disciplined, but if you still identify as someone who quits when it's hard, your behavior will match your identity. You can say, I'll be wealthy, but if you still see yourself as the person who always struggles, you will find a way to sabotage your success. Identity is the thermostat of your life. No matter how high you turn up the heat, you will always return to the temperature you believe you deserve. Think about it. When someone says, I'm just not a morning person, that becomes their identity. And because of that belief, they will never become one. When someone says, I have a short temper, they stop trying to control their reactions. When someone says success is not for people like me, they never take the steps that success requires. It's not that they can't change, it's that they don't believe change fits who they are. But identity is not permanent. Identity is a decision. The moment you decide who you are, your brain will start aligning your actions to that version. The person who says, I am disciplined, begins to act like someone who keeps promises. The person who says, I am a leader, starts speaking, thinking, and behaving like one. The person who says, I am becoming unstoppable, will find a way through every challenge. Ask yourself, who do you need to become before 2026? Not what do you want? Not what do you hope for? Who must you be? Because goals without identity are just wishes. When your identity matches your vision, your actions will follow automatically. You won't have to force yourself to grow. You will feel pulled toward growth. Every breakthrough begins with a shift in identity. The moment you stop seeing yourself as a victim and start seeing yourself as the one in control, everything changes. The moment you stop saying, I can't, and start saying, I'm learning, your reality shifts. The moment you stop identifying with your past and start identifying with your future, your life moves forward. This year is not about becoming someone new, it's about remembering who you were always meant to be. Upgrade the identity, and the decisions, habits, discipline, relationships, and results will rise with it. Because the strongest transformation is internal. And once you change who you are on the inside, nothing on the outside can stay the same. If there's one thing that shapes your life more than anything else, it's not your money, not your education, not your background, it's your emotions. Because the truth is, you don't make decisions from logic, you make them from emotion. You don't take action because you know what to do. You take action because you feel driven, confident, inspired, or even desperate enough to move. And if you don't learn how to master your emotional world, your emotions will run your life instead of you running your life. Think about how many people know exactly what they should do. They know they should work out. They know they should wake up earlier. They know they should stop wasting time, but their emotions get in the way. They don't feel motivated, so they don't start. They don't feel confident, so they don't try. They feel fear, so they hesitate. They feel overwhelmed, so they quit. They hand over the steering wheel of their life to feelings that come and go like the weather. But here's something most people never understand. Emotions are not commands. They are signals. You don't have to obey them, you control them. You can choose a different state, a different focus, a different meaning. People spend years waiting for a perfect emotional moment that never arrives, when in reality the fastest way to change your life is to change how you feel in the moment you least want to. Your emotions are like muscle. The more you train them, the stronger they get. If you practice staying calm in chaos, you get better at it. If you practice courage when you're scared, you grow. If you learn to bring excitement, determination, passion into your daily life, your body and mind start cooperating with you instead of fighting against you. You don't need to get rid of fear. You need to learn how to walk with it. You don't need to eliminate doubt. You need to learn how to act anyway. Every breakthrough begins with emotional mastery. You can't build success while being controlled by frustration, laziness, jealousy, insecurity, or fear. But you can build success the moment you learn how to shift yourself into a powerful state on command. And here's the truth. You decide your emotional state every day, not your circumstances, not the world, not your past. You decide what things mean. You decide whether something breaks you or builds you. You decide whether a challenge is a threat or an opportunity. Life doesn't stop giving you problems, you just get stronger than the problems. Before 2026, master the skill of mastering yourself. When you learn to control your emotions, you will stop quitting when it's hard, you will stop doubting your worth, you will stop shrinking yourself to stay comfortable. You will become someone who responds with strength, confidence, clarity, and purpose. Because the person who controls their emotions controls their decisions. And the one who controls their decisions controls their destiny. Everybody loves talking about motivation. They chase it, wait for it, get excited when they feel it. But the problem is motivation doesn't stay. It's like a spark. It lights fast, but it burns out just as quickly. You don't build a great life because you felt motivated once. You build a great life because you became disciplined. Motivation is a mood. Discipline is a decision. Think about it. How many times have you felt inspired at night to change your life, and by morning that inspiration disappeared? How many times have you promised yourself you'd start tomorrow, and when tomorrow came, the feeling was gone? If your future depends on motivation, your life will always move in circles, because motivation is emotional, but discipline is a habit. Discipline is what steps in when your feelings step out. The people you admire aren't successful because they're always excited. They're successful because they don't negotiate with themselves. They don't wait to feel like doing the work. They do it because it needs to be done. They train their minds the same way a warrior trains their body, with consistency, repetition, and commitment. Discipline is the difference between I want to change and I will change. And it's not about perfection. It's about making small promises to yourself and keeping them. Wake up when you said you would. Study when you said you would. Work out when you said you would. Even when you don't feel like it. Especially when you don't feel like it. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you build self-respect. And self-respect is the foundation of confidence. Most people aren't tired, they're undisciplined. Most people don't lack time, they lack consistency. Most people don't fail because something was impossible. They fail because they gave up the moment it got uncomfortable. But discomfort is the price of growth. Discipline means choosing your future over your feelings. It means doing the hard things now so life becomes easier later. And here's the real secret. Discipline doesn't take away your freedom, it gives it back to you. The disciplined person has the freedom to build wealth because they learn to save and invest. The disciplined person has the freedom of a strong body because they trained it. The disciplined person has the freedom of choice, opportunity, and confidence because they created it. The undisciplined person is controlled by their impulses. The disciplined person is controlled by their vision. Before 2026 arrives, make discipline non-negotiable. Don't wait for the right mood, the perfect moment, or the ideal circumstances. Train yourself to follow through. The world doesn't reward intention, it rewards execution. The gap between who you are and who you want to be is closed by discipline, not motivation, because motivation is a feeling, but discipline is a lifestyle. And when discipline becomes who you are, nothing can stop what you are becoming. There's something most people never realize. You can have the right goals, the right mindset, the right intentions, but if you're surrounded by the wrong people, your growth will suffocate. You rise or fall to the level of the environment you live in. Humans are emotional, mental, energetic sponges. We absorb the attitudes, habits, standards, and energy of the people around us. And if you stay in an environment that pulls you backward, it doesn't matter how much potential you have. Your future gets trapped by your surroundings. Look at your circle. Who are the people you spend the most time with? Do they inspire you, challenge you, push you, and respect your growth? Or do they drain you, distract you, discourage you, or keep you small? Success is not just about who you are, it's about who you're becoming. And who you're becoming is shaped by who you're with. If you're surrounded by people with small dreams, small thinking, small ambition, you will start shrinking without even noticing. If you're surrounded by people who complain all day, you start complaining. If you're surrounded by people who waste time, you start wasting time. You can love people, but you can't let them limit your destiny. But the opposite is also true. When you surround yourself with winners, with disciplined, hungry, passionate, growth-driven people, your standards rise. You start thinking bigger, acting bolder, aiming higher. You don't have to force growth. It becomes natural. The right environment pulls you forward. The right people make you uncomfortable in a good way. They don't let you settle for mediocrity. They don't accept your excuses. They hold you to your potential. Sometimes the hardest part of growth is outgrowing the people who don't want to grow. It's not about thinking you're better. It's about knowing you're capable of more. You can care about people and still create distance. You can respect people and still protect your vision. Growth requires boundaries. You can't build a powerful life while surrounding yourself with people committed to staying powerless. And you don't just need supportive people. You need people who challenge you, people who think at a higher level, people who are already living the results you want. Not to compare yourself to them, but to learn from them, to stretch yourself, to see what's possible. The fastest way to grow is to place yourself in rooms where you're not the most successful person, not the strongest thinker, not the highest achiever. Because when you're the smallest in the room, you grow the fastest. Before 2026 arrives, upgrade your circle and upgrade your standards. Spend more time with people who have goals, people who value discipline, people who think solution, not excuse, people who don't just dream, they execute. If you can't find those people, be those people. Build that circle. Become the kind of person others want to learn from, grow with, and follow. Because your future is shaped by the environments you allow, and the right people can turn your potential into your reality. Money is not just a tool, it's a responsibility. And too many people treat their finances with hope instead of strategy. They say things like, one day I'll save, or one day I'll invest, or one day things will get better, as if money will magically organize itself. But wealth isn't accidental. Wealth is built. Wealth is planned. Wealth is created through intentional actions repeated over time. Most people don't have a money problem. They have a money mindset problem. They say they want financial freedom, but their habits don't match their desire. They spend more than they earn. They buy things to impress people who don't care. They wait for motivation to save, and they treat investing like gambling instead of education. You cannot build wealth on emotional spending or financial guessing. Wealth belongs to the disciplined. If you want 2026 to look different financially, you need a financial system, not financial wishes. A system means you don't save when you feel like it, you save automatically. A system means a percentage of your income goes to growth, non-negotiable. A system means you learn how money works, not just how to make it. Money is a game, and most people lose simply because they never learn the rules. It's not about how much you earn, it's about how much you keep and how much you grow. You can make $3,000 a month or $30,000 a month. If you spend everything, you're still broke. Financial freedom is not about income, it's about behavior. You don't have to start big, you just have to start. Consistency beats intensity every time. And don't wait for the perfect moment. There is no perfect moment. The sooner you start, the faster your money compounds. $1 invested is more powerful than $10 delayed. The people who win financially are not the most educated, the smartest, or the luckiest. They are the ones who commit early, stay disciplined, and let time work on their side. Also understand this, money expands the real you. If you're generous now, you'll be more generous with wealth. If you're careless now, you'll be more careless with wealth. If you're responsible now, wealth will amplify your life. Money doesn't change character, it exposes it. So building wealth is not just about learning numbers, it's about developing maturity, patience, and long-term thinking. Surround yourself with people who understand money. Listen to people who have built wealth, not people who are scared of it. Learn about investing, assets, compounding, and business. Make money a subject you master instead of avoid. Because avoiding the topic keeps you stuck, but understanding it sets you free. Before 2026 arrives, create a financial action system. Know where your money goes, know where it grows, know how to multiply it. Don't just work for money, make money work for you. Because financial freedom doesn't come from chance, it comes from consistency, clarity, and commitment. Fear is one of the most misunderstood forces in the world. People think fear is the enemy. They think fear means stop, fear means danger, fear means turn around and hide. But fear is not there to weaken you, fear is there to wake you up. Fear is a signal that growth is near. If your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough. If your goals don't intimidate you a little, they're not stretching you. You cannot become a stronger, more confident, more powerful version of yourself without stepping into situations that demand more of you. But here's what most people do. They wait for fear to disappear before they take action. They wait to feel confident, wait to feel ready, wait to feel certain. And that day never comes. Confidence doesn't come before action. Confidence comes from action. You don't become brave first and then take the step. You take the step while shaking, while doubting, while questioning, and the bravery shows up after. Think about how many dreams die because someone was scared of looking stupid. Think about how many ideas never became reality because someone was afraid of judgment. Think about how many goals were abandoned because someone feared failure more than they wanted success. The world is full of potential that was never activated. Not because people weren't capable, but because fear convinced them they weren't. Fear wants to keep you safe, not successful. Fear wants you comfortable, not powerful. Fear wants you to repeat the past, not create the future. If you listen to fear, your life will always be small. If you move despite fear, your life will always expand. Every time you do something that scares you, every risk, every decision, every leap, you stretch your identity. You prove to yourself that you are bigger than the voice in your head. When you were a child, everything was new. You didn't know how to walk, talk, write, or even think clearly. But you learned because you tried. You fell, failed, got embarrassed, got hurt, and kept going. As adults, we stop growing not because we stop having opportunities, but because we stop taking risks. We stop trying. We stop stepping into the unknown. We let fear talk louder than desire. But the people who create real success are not fearless. They just have clarity. Their vision is stronger than their excuses. Their purpose is louder than their doubt. Their hunger is bigger than their fear. They don't eliminate fear. They dominate it. They use it as fuel. They feel the same fear you feel, but they move anyway. Before 2026 arrives, commit to doing the things that scare you. Start the business, have the conversation, apply for the opportunity, take the risk. Fear will always be there, but courage can stand beside it. And once you move through fear, you will discover the version of yourself that fear was trying to hide from you, because the life you want is always on the other side of the fear you refuse to face. Your life changes the moment your communication changes, not just how you speak to others, but how you speak to yourself. Communication is influence. It is connection. It is leadership. You can have the best ideas in the world, but if you can't communicate them, they die inside you. You can have value, talent, gifts, and brilliance, but if you can't express them, the world will never see them. Opportunities don't always go to the smartest people. They go to the best communicators. Every relationship you have, personal, professional, business, rises or falls based on communication. The difference between misunderstandings and clarity, between arguments and solutions, between strangers and allies, is communication. People lose jobs not because they lack skill, but because they lack communication. People lose relationships not because there's no love, but because there's no communication. People lose confidence because the words they speak to themselves are heavier than anything spoken by others. If you want to change your future, change your language. Stop saying I can't and start saying I will find a way. Stop saying I don't know and start saying I'm learning. Stop saying this is who I am and start saying this is who I'm becoming. Language doesn't describe your life. Language creates your life. Every word you speak programs your mind. Speak weakness and you'll feel weak. Speak power and you will become powerful. And communication isn't just words, it's presence. It's energy. It's certainty. You've met someone who didn't say much, but their presence filled the room. You've also met someone who talked for hours but said nothing meaningful. People don't respond to the words alone. They respond to the emotion behind the words. When you speak with certainty, you transfer certainty. When you speak with passion, you transfer passion. When you speak from truth, people feel it. If you want better opportunities, learn to communicate your value. If you want better relationships, learn to communicate your emotions with honesty instead of silence or anger. If you want to lead, learn to communicate vision in a way that makes others believe. Public speaking, storytelling, persuasion, emotional intelligence, these are not just skills, they are advantages. The world listens to those who know how to speak. And communication is a skill anyone can build. You get better by practicing. You get better by reading, by writing, by observing great communicators, by pushing yourself into uncomfortable conversations. You get better by expressing yourself instead of hiding. If you want doors to open, your voice has to knock on them. If you want respect, your communication must reflect confidence. If you want connection, your communication must reflect authenticity. Before 2026 arrives, master the way you communicate with others and with yourself. Don't speak like someone hoping to be heard. Speak like someone who deserves to be. Because when your communication rises, your opportunities rise with it. Time is the most valuable currency you have. Not money, not energy, not talent, time. Because you can get money back, you can rebuild energy, you can learn new skills. But once time is gone, it's gone forever. And yet most people treat time like it's cheap. They waste hours every day on things that don't move them forward, don't build their future, don't make them stronger, richer, smarter, or happier. They say they don't have time, but the truth is they don't have focus. There are two kinds of people in this world, those who manage time and those whose time manages them. The first group is intentional. They plan, they prioritize, they eliminate distractions. The second group wakes up reacting to life. Notifications, messages, drama, entertainment, impulses, and when the day ends, they wonder why nothing changed. It's not that they didn't have enough time, it's that they didn't use it for the right things. Success is not about doing everything, it's about doing what matters. Time management is not about being busy, it's about being productive. You can be busy all day and accomplish nothing. You can work for hours and move nowhere. Productivity is not measured in effort, it's measured in progress. And you know exactly where most of your time goes. Scrolling, overthinking, procrastinating, starting and stopping, being afraid to begin, telling yourself later over and over again until days, weeks, and months disappear. Imagine how different your life would look if you stopped wasting 1 or 2 hours a day. That's 30 hours a month, 360 hours a year. That's 45 full working days of your life. What could you build with 45 extra days? If you want to take control of your future, you have to take control of your time. That means being honest with yourself. Where is your time going? What habits are stealing your growth? Who is consuming your energy? What distractions are killing your progress? Sometimes the problem isn't that life is overwhelming. It's that your priorities are unorganized. You don't need more hours. You need structure. A simple plan, a clear schedule. A list of actions that move the needle. When you know what matters most, it becomes easier to say no to everything else. Discipline becomes natural when your vision becomes non-negotiable. And here's the truth, your time reveals your values. You can say your goals matter, but if your time goes to entertainment instead of improvement, the truth is right there. You can say you want success, but if your time goes to excuses instead of execution, the truth is right there. Look at where your hours go. That's where your future is being built. Before 2026 arrives, become someone who protects their time like their life depends on it, because it does. Guard your hours, remove distractions, choose productivity over comfort, because the person who controls their time controls their growth, their success, and their destiny. You know what most people forget on their journey? They forget that results come from repetition, not intention. Everyone has dreams, everyone has goals, everyone has plans, but only a few actually turn those plans into a consistent practice. Consistency is not glamorous, and because of that, people underestimate it. They look at someone successful and think, wow, they're gifted, they're lucky, they had advantages. No, they don't see the nights when nobody clapped. They don't see the early mornings, the dull, boring, repetitive tasks that built the muscle of mastery. Success isn't built in the final moment. Success is built long before the world ever sees it. If you want to change your life, you must fall in love with repetition. Because your brain learns through emotion and repetition. Emotion gives the spark, repetition makes it permanent. One decision can change your direction, but repetition changes your identity. Every time you show up when you don't feel like it, you reinforce the belief that you're someone who follows through. And every time you break that promise to yourself, you teach your brain that your words mean nothing. Think about that. The greatest damage isn't the missed workout, the skipped study session, the undone task. The greatest damage is who you become in your own mind. People wait for motivation, and that's why they stay stuck. Motivation is unreliable. Motivation shows up when life feels exciting. Discipline shows up when life feels ordinary. And the people who win are not the people who feel motivated. They're the people who have trained themselves to act regardless of emotion. When you make your habits stronger than your moods, you become unstoppable. You no longer live in reaction, you live in intention. And yes, some days you'll feel tired. Some days you'll feel like you're moving slowly, like no progress is happening. But every small action compounded over time becomes something extraordinary. You don't plant a seed and dig it up every day to check if it's growing. You water it, you give it sunlight, you trust the process, and your life works the same way. If you just stay consistent, show up, show up, show up, you will create momentum. And momentum is when life starts pushing you instead of you pushing life. So make a decision right now that every action counts. Because every time you take a step in the direction of your future, your mind starts to believe you. And belief is everything. Repetition is what programs the mind. If you repeat your excuses, you live your excuses. If you repeat your limitations, you wear them like clothes. But if you repeat your power, repeat your effort, repeat your courage, repeat your commitment, your life transforms. Progress doesn't reward intensity, it rewards consistency. Every single day you have a choice. Repeat the past or repeat the future you want. So keep showing up, even when it's hard, even when it's quiet, even when no one is watching. Because consistency is what turns invisible progress into visible results. And that is how you build a life you're proud of. There is a moment every person reaches in their journey where the strategy is not the problem, the resources are not the problem, the intelligence is not the problem. The real battle is internal. You know exactly what you should be doing, but something inside holds you back. And it's not fear of failure like people think. It's fear of what happens if you actually succeed. Because when you succeed, life changes, expectations rise, comfort disappears. And so many people subconsciously sabotage their own breakthrough because they were more comfortable with a familiar misery than an unfamiliar possibility. But at some point, you must decide that your future is worth the discomfort. You must decide that your vision matters more than your excuses. Life gets better the moment you stop negotiating with your limitations. If you keep arguing for your excuses, you get to keep them. But if you argue for your greatness, you unlock a level of life you've never touched before. The truth is, you are one bold decision away from a completely different experience of life. Not tomorrow, not next month, not when things calm down, because things never magically calm down. The universe rewards decisive hearts. There is nothing more powerful than a human being who decides, I'm done living below my potential. The second you make that decision and follow it with action, you stop playing life on defense and start living on offense. And yes, the path will challenge you. Growth demands discomfort. You don't get stronger by staying safe. You get stronger by stepping into the arena, by taking risks, by putting yourself in situations where you must rise to the occasion. Every challenge is not here to break you. It's here to reveal you. It proves what you're capable of. It shows you parts of yourself you never would have discovered if life stayed easy. There is a version of you that you haven't even met yet, a version of you that is powerful, focused, consistent, confident, disciplined, loving, fearless, unstoppable. That version of you is not created by wishing. It's created by deciding. And the moment you decide to stop quitting on yourself, everything changes. You start attracting different opportunities, different people, different outcomes. Because your energy shifts, your standards shift, your actions shift. Most people are not held back by a lack of potential. They are held back by a lack of belief. So let me tell you something. Belief is a choice. Confidence is a choice. Courage is a choice. And the greatest choice you will ever make is to back yourself even when you feel unprepared. Because life does not reward the person who waits. Life rewards the person who steps forward anyway. So make that choice today. Don't wait for the perfect time. Don't wait for validation. Don't wait for everything to feel comfortable. Step into your future with conviction, because your destiny is waiting for you to show up. And this is the moment everything changes.